He was born to Odin, the king of Asgard. Coming of age, he received a gift of a magic hammer. It was so enchanted that only the worthy may lift it. He's Thor. He was last month's MVP for the second time. That's how worthy he is. And he's on again tonight in JLA versus Avengers. Welcome. Joining me is John's Comics with Friends, my co-host. How are you tonight?
I am spectacular. Thanks for having me back again. And again
yes, very excited. It's you're back again, but for the first time.
Sure. It's all new. It's all back again. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that I was liking the stream and in the chat. So there you go.
Yes, because last time you were with us, you were with kids.
Yes.
And now you're with friends.
And still kind of vaguely with kids in the background, okay.
But I've been telling people that you traded your kids for friends.
I did. And even because my logo, I got my logo fixed up there. So it's all happening.
So you have more friends than you have kids.
I mean, I can't promise that either. There are people like yourself kind enough to spend time with me on the regular.
I look forward to it.
Answer my calls when I send them.
Yeah, I look forward to it all the time. Tonight, we're doing our monthly look back at two Silver Age comic books, Justice League of America, Volume 1, Issue 15, and Avengers, Volume 1, Issue 15. We're back into the 1960s for these two comic books. Something of interest, of note, that I think it's so awesome that we're doing this show tonight. Back in the 1970s, late 1970s, DC Comics, as they were doing each year at that time, made a calendar. And this one particular year, they decided, let's denote like special days, birthdays and anniversaries and so on and so forth of different characters. For example, according to that calendar, which is, they just picked dates at random for the most part and said, okay, this is so-and-so's birthday. Like my birthday is the same as Donna Troy's, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I was happy about that.
That worked out really well.
It did, since she is a favorite of mine. But tonight, or they don't give the years, they just give the dates. But according to that calendar, today is the anniversary of the formation of the Justice League.
Really?
Yes.
Because it's obviously not the anniversary for the publication of the first issue or anything.
No.
Or the issue where they found the team, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The founding of the team happened on this date, according to that DC Comics calendar.
September 22nd. Okay.
We talked September 22nd.
July
22nd, yeah. So it's kind of fun that we're doing a show tonight on a JLA anniversary.
Well, it's in keeping with the fact that I've been rewatching a lot of Snyder era movies, so we were watching the Justice League earlier today.
Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't know that I was doing it in any sort of anniversarial form.
You were celebrating without even knowing it.
Little did I know.
So let's say hello to some of our roll call that's with us in the live chat. If you're watching in the rewind, thank you so much for spending time on the channel. Ruben Guzman's here first. White Tiger, cool, calm, collected. Muabunga to you and hope that you're doing well. We'll say station to Tim. Tim the comic collector. He's here. So thank you for being here. Then John himself is in the chat as well. So these are our beginning roll call. Of course, we'll keep shouting out people as they join us, and you'll have a chance to influence tonight. We'll kind of give you the facts if you haven't read these stories, and you can determine which one you thought was better. And just because you vote for one issue, say you like the cover of one better, but you like the story better for another one, that's fine too. You can flip-flop all you want to do. Just choose whatever you thought was the better one.
And I think that's been the fun for you and I, has been kind of going back through and examining them issue by issue, panel by panel, cover by cover. It's been interesting to see kind of where our favorites might fall one week to another.
Yeah. And then there's been those issues where we didn't like either.
I came close tonight.
Uh-oh.
I told you, for me, this is a very lopsided night.
So we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. So let's start out with, because we both own copies of these books, and we'll start out with the JLA one first. So my copy of issue 15. Oops, the wrong one. How long have I had my copy of issue 15? Well, not that long. Just a little over 2 months, as a matter of fact. So for those that don't know that I'm getting down there in terms of I'm trying to collect all of volume 1 of JLA, and there's just literally a handful of issues that I need. A couple fingers full of issues I
was going
need
to say, I
really.
think your last video claimed 3, right?
Last video claimed 2.
Okay.
So
tick tock.
Yeah. And at one point though, this issue was concerning me because I'm like, I know I have this show coming up, which is right now tonight, where I need this issue by this time. And one thing I didn't want to do was overpay for a book just because I needed it for the show and for the show time. I'm happy to report that when this book came into my collection a little over 2 months and a couple days ago, I did not overpay for it. As a matter of fact, I got a really good screaming deal on this, and I was very happy with it. So that's the way I wanted it to be, and that's the way that it turned out to be, and I couldn't be more appreciative of that. I want to say hello to Kenneth Bird. Thanks for being here.
So, Kenneth.
Yeah. So we'll go back, and you can tell us about your Avengers issue 15.
Yeah. So I double checked. You were watching me go before we went live. That I double checked that I did in fact get this. This was the second to last Avengers issue I needed in the first 20, and this was a gift from herself, Lady Fantastic Caroline. So sweet. Yes. She knew I was getting near the end, that my wish list for 2024 included the last, I think, 3 issues I was hunting. And so she found this copy and sent it to me. I think she mentioned, it's a low grade and it has an ink blot you can see across Iron Man's hand and Cap's shield there. Yep. Looks like a shadow. But I'm like, no, it's held together nicely. The colors are still real vibrant. It's a really perfect copy for my collection. So thank you, Lady Fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how long ago did you say you got that in your collection?
It was early 2024, I think in the spring. So somewhere in that, about a little over a year ago.
Okay, cool. Our first category up tonight, every book starts with its cover. I mean, even though you're not supposed to judge it on that. Let's talk about the covers tonight. And we'll start with JLA because it's kind of a JLA starting night tonight.
Sure.
This book, when I first saw this, because obviously when I'm hunting down and looking at the books that I need. So I've looked at this cover a lot, especially in the last year. I have looked at this cover a lot. And this cover was not a favorite of mine. And I would look at it many, many times and I'm like, whatever. And maybe that's one of the reasons why it never was so much of a priority, because I wasn't too crazy about the cover. But then I'm going to tell you, looking at a cover as a thumbnail or looking at it, online is different than looking at it in person sometimes. When I got the book, I stopped and looked at it and went, oh no, I like this cover a lot more than I thought I did. So having it in person changed my perspective and my thoughts of this cover. So I went from not so much digging it to going, oh yeah, I can kind of get behind that.
I will say, I love the concept that they're going for. I like the layout. I don't know that I love all the perspectives, because it took me a couple of glances to realize that the Atom isn't climbing on the character, but is actually on the arrow tip that Green Arrow is shooting, because he's about the same size as some of the other guys there. So I had to really look it over for this show, and I was like, oh, okay, wait, I see. And then it reminds me of that Hawkeye cover, obviously, where he's shooting Ant-Man. And I love that they're doing that here, obviously way before that moment ever occurred. I wish I could tell that that's what they were doing. The other, if you look also, Ray Palmer, right? He's the Atom, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like his arm is creating a shadow on the creature.
Yeah, but it isn't.
That's bad perspective drawing for me. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it would have made this cover for me the clear winner if the perspective of the Arrow and Ray Palmer as the Atom on there had been laid out in such a way that it was so clear he was going to ride the Arrow. Like, I love that idea. Everybody else I like a lot. In fact, Aquaman, I think, looks great. The detail in his shirt looks so strong. I like what the whole Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter and Flash, all that kind of stuff is working for me. Green Lantern looks a little odd. His pose looks a little strange, but the rest of the layout and the concept works well for me.
Okay, Cool. But imagine with what you were saying there, looking at this as a thumbnail, that would be even worse, you know?
Yeah, I mean, everything is distorted and
Yeah.
shrunk, right?
Yeah. Hey, Glenn, thanks for stopping by. You're just in the beginning, so keep them votes coming in. So for the for the Avengers issue.
Yeah. This one is quite jumbled. For me, it has all the giant word balloons that we tease. There's 4 of them, gang. If you notice, there's even a tiny little orange one down in the corner here. And then, yeah, everything doesn't pop. Everything just looks like a jumble of characters. And I look at it and I feel like it's hard to get excited about it. I guess it's what kids wanted maybe at this time. Like, show me everybody on the cover, all the good guys, all the bad guys. It's just a bit much, and it doesn't have any excitement. It doesn't have any pizzazz for me. So it just feels common, which is not what I want. So I guess it's clear which way I'm voting on these 2 covers. What are some of your thoughts?
It's so both covers run into the same problem of you have so many characters that you have to squeeze into one cover. And in this case, I don't like what they did with the Avengers. You can't put that many characters and that much wordage on that cover, and without people getting lost, and people do get lost on this cover. And then it just, after a while, nothing stands out to me with all these different colors.
I would have loved, and this is just me, I would have loved a really strong Black Knight versus Thor, or Black Knight versus Iron Man cover, where it was like, hey, we've got a really exciting new guest villain, along with obviously the ones we've known and loved. Maybe showing that as the highlight, and then, not necessarily this giant like barrage of characters. Yeah, but that's that was just not a popular way of thinking at the time.
Yeah. So you guys in the chat can start voting right now. Which is your favorite cover out of these 2? While John and I will start. I'm giving our picks. So.
I'm fully happy to say it. Like, it's definitely a JLA win. It might not be by a landslide, but I will say, if that perspective on the Atom and the Green Arrow were fixed a little bit so that it didn't look like he was climbing up the stone creature, I would probably say that it was a home run. Like, it wasn't even close.
Yeah. I'm going JLA on this too. I do agree with Glenn saying on the Avengers cover that it is kind of a where's ball, though. That's a very good.
Yeah.
And Glenn's given it to JLA.
Is that the Black Knight's real name?
But hello to Knights of Old, who is saying, no way, Avengers. I love that.
Good to see you, sir.
And old Tim giving us a station.
So yeah, you guys in the chat can vote which cover you prefer between these 2.
Yeah. So right now it's leading a little bit with our votes counted in to JLA.
Yes, we're the tiebreakers if we agree, and we do agree on this particular one.
Oh, we got another JLA.
Like Justice League is way out in front. But I will say this if you look closely at the Avengers cover, I don't have an issue with the way anybody is drawn. So, like, looking closely at Cap, I love the pose. I love the look of Baron Zemo. I like the look of the Black Knight. I like Wasp. I like, Thor's got a good pose. Iron Man looks great. So it's just the way that it all comes together. It becomes so bland. Sorry.
So actually, can you put that back up? To me, it's like the Enchantress in the background. She's not doing anything that she hasn't done in a cover before because they don't have the space for it,
Well, it's something that slowly happened over time, certainly for me, and definitely for Ryan.
And actually, Glenn, they have been original so far. We haven't done a show yet where one of us, I have the JLAs, he has the Avengers.
I'm gonna prep you in advance, Glenn. It's gonna be me. When we get to issue, I think it's 22 is the first one that I don't own. I think it'll be me before this show, because we're gonna continue on until Justice League starts its reprints, and then we'll talk about what this show kind of becomes at that stage. Because
maybe we'll have that figured out by then.
I mean, maybe we will. We've been kind of just enjoying the ride while it happens.
Yeah.
Although I do have 24 and 25. So if I got 22 and 23, at least it would do the first. So maybe I'll end up getting 22 and 23.
If only there was a big convention sometime soon that you could go to look for them.
Look.
Hey, JP Fawn, how are you doing? Thank you for popping in here. I really appreciate you and for your vote tonight.
I don't have
more
enough
categories for you guys to vote into.
I don't have enough dumb money to go this route, especially not at a big con where it's going to be super expensive. Yeah, this omnibus that I'm reading out of for the show goes through the first 30 issues, but I just checked my CLZ and I've got through. I'm almost through 25, but I don't have 26 to 30 at this point. Okay. So that it may end up being 26 in the end when we get
there. Okay, cool. So cover wise, it's JLA. So the story is where we're going to go to now, and yes, you guys, we're going to give you we're not going to go page by page, but we're going to kind of give you recaps of what these stories are, and then you can listen to both and kind of say based on our summaries that we provided who had the better story. So we'll start with the JLA as we usually do when it's on my channel. And are you ready to take it away, Mr. John?
I am ready to read it, and you're ready to share it, right?
I am ready.
Yes, the first page is that splash that we've noticed on the interior for Justice League and sometimes even for Avengers, where we get a little bit of like a repeat of the cover, letting us know kind of what we're in for. In this case, it's the stone giant that can touch them, but cannot be touched, which is an interesting concept, and you can kind of see it all sort of represented there. And we have our roll call, right? But then we jump into the story, and the story does have a lot to do with nuclear armament, proliferation of atomic weapons. In this case, we see this new, I guess they call it the Sky Fortress, that can launch a lot of atomic missiles very quickly. And it seems to have lost control, and it's sort of firing off missiles without really being given the right order. And the Sky Fortress even rocks and sways back and forth, and it's supposed to be under the control of the United States government, but it's not. Inside of the fortress, the Sky Fortress, we see a young dashing reporter and a young female that we might recognize. As we turn the page, everyone starts falling out of the Sky Fortress, and that dashing reporter is none other than Superman, and that military intelligence officer is none other than Wonder Woman, and they jump to the rescue of those people. Superman and Wonder Woman are both surprised because they don't know one another's identities at this point. He tells her to save the people. He's going to try to stop the platform from falling, and he is able to catch parts of it while the gun flies and floats away. And that's where we see Flash, young Barry Allen, in his lab, sees the gun floating in outer space, and he races, or not in the sky, and he runs towards it, and it starts firing, and it shoots at this skyscraper, and he can't stop the bullet, but he can rescue the people. So he uses his speed force, and he saves everybody out of the building before it is hit with this shell and exploded. And by then, Superman and Wonder Woman have arrived, and they're all trying to figure out a way to stop this gun. Everything they're doing, they can't figure out how it's floating in the air. So Wonder Woman starts catching the shells with her lasso to try to pull them down and fling them into outer space where they'll be harmless. Superman wrenches the barrel of the weapon to destroy it, and Flash calls them over and is like, "Hey guys, what's going on? What is happening here?" And they're all a little dumbfounded. So they decide to hit their little devices to signal the rest of the team, and everybody rushes from what they were doing, as you can see there at the bottom, to the meeting place for the Justice League. And they start talking a little bit about what they are noticing. And they hear via the radio that there are similar problems happening in Tokyo, Brazil, and Central City, USA. So they decide to split, as they often do, into 3 separate groups and flee off to solve this problem. The first group we're going to follow is Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Aquaman as they rush to Tokyo. And when they get there, what they see is this strange stone character looking up at the sky. And they're not quite sure what this person is up to. They go down to investigate. He can grab them. They can't touch him. So there's some back and forth happening here. And of course, there are launching of missiles happening here as well. And Manhunter is trying to stop that, but he can't seem to be able to solve this problem. Green Arrow is like, what am I going to do with arrows? How am I going to stop missiles with arrows? And he figures out a way to actually force them to splash down safely in the ocean. Meanwhile, Aquaman in the water outside of Tokyo notices another stone creature carrying these rockets and trying to launch them from the ocean. And he foils that gentleman's plans the same with similar success. But once these bombs start going off and they sort of save the day, the giants capture and grab them all and go marching away with them. But at the last second, they're dropped to the ground and released, and the stone creatures vanish. Then we jump to Wonder Woman, Superman, and the Atom, and they are finding 2 stone creatures in Brazil, or specifically the capital of Brazil, Brasilia. There's a strange cloud of lightning over the city. This is something that's designed to protect them from, explosive ordnance, but they can't figure out why it's not really in control. And there's this super solvent that's falling down, dissolving things. And it's Superman's immune, so he flies in and uses his heat vision to evaporate the raindrops. But of course, yet again, we've got these stone giants appearing. Wonder Woman is trying to use her lasso, but she gets grabbed and captured. The Atom climbs up the magic lasso, shrinks down to get inside the cloud device. And when he's inside, he's able to unplug certain pieces of it to save the day. But of course, when he comes back out again, he is captured in the same way as everybody else. And then Superman, lastly, caught as well. But after a moment or two, stone creatures vanish and the heroes are set free. So then we're left with the Central City crew, Green Lantern, Flash, and Batman. They come rushing in. They find 2 robots there, and they are using some kind of what they call a plunger to create earthquakes. And they're shaking the city. Green Lantern uses the ring to hold the buildings in place, and Flash and Batman try to attack these stone creatures, but they're having little success because they can't touch them, but they can be impacted by them. The Flash zips around in circles enough to create dust and then knock that, hoping to sink one of them into the ground. But it doesn't work. He's just floating in the air, and he grabs the Flash. Green Lantern shows up, and he just smashes the device that they were using. But again, all of the heroes seem to be unable to impact the creatures themselves. They all get grabbed and then released when the creatures sort of fade away and vanish. But Green Lantern says, I deliberately willed my ring to leave me and go with these giants. And now that they're disappearing, it is I'll know where they came from, just as I planned. So we jump to the land of the giants, and they're kind of flummoxed by this ring. They think it could be very valuable, and they go into a little of their backstory, which has to do with a cobalt bomb. There's bombing happening in the US and in Tokyo and Brazil. And then there's a similar event clearly happening in their world. And they talk about how they're from another Earth parallel seemingly to ours, and that these nuclear bombs or atomic bombs coordinating together have caused a disastrous effect which could annihilate one, the other, or both of these Earths. So they're trying to figure out how to use these rings to maybe solve their problem, when all of a sudden the Justice League appears. The Justice League says, this is our plan. No, I was using my ring. My ring does all these cool things, and now it teleported all of us to your world. I've probed your minds. I've learned the truth. And the Green Lantern's like, I know all of what's going on. I'm going to rush off, and I'm going to move your city and your cities around so they don't align anymore with the Earth counterparts, and I'll save the day. Well, that, of course, upsets the giants. They're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. They try to explain, no, if you do this, there's a protection over this move that you're planning, and it will cause disaster, right? Everything's going to be destroyed if you do this simple solution. So Green Lantern is rushing off, and he's preparing to do this thing. The worlds are starting to shatter, but then they stop. And Green Lantern flies back over. And he says, no, actually, I thought about your plan, and I changed my mind. Instead, what I did was I moved Earth back, rotated Earth back to where it was when the bombs went off. So now we're not in synchronous, rotation anymore. So that problem of our alignment doesn't happen. Your cities and our cities are not aligned anymore, so there won't be a problem. And everybody's like, wow, we should have thought of that earlier. And so we can all go back and snap, Rick, and snap, and everybody can be happy that they saved the day.
You're right, Daddy-O.
What's up, old wolf?
Hey, Tony, how you doing? Hope that you're doing well. We appreciate you being here.
All right. You ready for some Avengers stories?
Well, in a second here, but I mean, and I just take Keat wherever I can get it because I don't get it much anymore. So,
as you should. But now it's my turn to be cute. Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
John is talking and talking and talking. I mean, that was my turn.
Yeah.
I try to be brief, but you want to see the stories. The story's a little far-fetched. Brother, we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah. All right. Now by my hand shall die a villain on our splash page. Got the Avengers wrapping up a meeting, and we're promised one of the greatest array of guest villains ever assembled in one magazine.
I know.
So Giant Man shrinks back down to size. He's going to take Wasp out to dinner. No time to change. She's just going to put a coat over it, and because her leggings are so fashionable anyway, no one's going to realize there's a costume underneath. They're all going their separate ways. Thor changes back to Donald Blake. Cap is getting ready to take off. They all wonder, why is Iron Man always the last one? He's to leave, and he goes back to his private quarters and he has to recharge essentially his battery that's keeping Tony Stark alive, because they don't know that he's Tony Stark. So meanwhile, we're heading over into the Amazon jungle, where Baron Zemo says he's remained in hiding too long and the time's come for him to strike at the Avengers. So he grabs a hold of his henchmen and says, you know the plan, you know the order, and you know the penalty for failure as well. So they said, we rehearsed this many times, we know what to do, and we are off. And Baron Zemo watches them take off. Back in New York in a hotel room, Steve Rogers, a.k.a. Captain America, is trying to find the words to write an important letter he's writing to Colonel Nick Fury in the Pentagon. So he doesn't know if he should mail this or not. He thinks that Nick Fury might think that he's a crackpot for writing this, but he's kind of interested in counter-espionage, and he thinks that he would be really good at that as kind of like a day-to-day job. He finally decides, I'm going to mail the letter, and as he drops it into the mailbox, he looks at a car and he sees the Enchantress and the Executioner. He'd know them from anywhere, and their very presence is a threat to the city, so he's got to follow him. Remember, he's still a Steve Rogers right now, and he starts jumping up on light poles and hopping from car rooftop to car rooftop, and he's trying to catch up to them. And they have this feeling, especially Enchantress, that they're being watched, and she turns around to see that they are. So she interferes a little bit with a little spell, and the cable snaps and he falls. Loses keeping a tail on them. So a little time has passed, and they're in a furnished private building in the heart of the city, and Enchantress is a little bit bored. How much longer do we have to wait? Baron Zemo comes in communicating on this teleporter. He says, you remember what the plan is, don't you? He says, immortals never forget, so don't worry about us. We're going to crush the Avengers. The Avengers have been all called together now that Steve Rogers saw the Executioner and the Enchantress, and they know that means that they're going to come attacking them at any minute. So the Avengers feel like they're kind of ready for something, although they don't know what it is going to be, when they hear a huge roar, a giant engine that's coming closer, but what could it be? When all of a sudden, being pulled skyward, Rick Jones. He's being taken captive so fast that even Iron Man's jets can't catch up to him. There's a plane up above, and Rick is headed right towards it. And they disperse some bombs and some missiles and that are ready to be detonated. And they do slow down the Avengers for sure. Giant Man is able, between standing on the rooftops of two different buildings at full size, to catch both of them so they don't end up going splat. But that gives them an advantage by borrowing Captain America's shield. So he goes to throw the shield up, but they have to be careful because Rick Jones is inside there. And all of a sudden, that doesn't work out either because there's a force field around the aircraft. So inside the aircraft, they know Zemo is going to be happy, and that's when Rick Jones is like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Zemo's behind it. But you know who's paying attention? Who kind of snuck up there and flew up there with them? It's the Wasp. And she knows what the plan is right now. So meanwhile, back down on the rooftops, Cap is obviously upset. Rick Jones reminds him a lot of Bucky. So Rick Jones being taken is like Bucky being taken. And that's triggering him a lot. And he says, we got to try to reach that plane. And Iron Man says, I can call the plane for us, in authorization of Anthony Stark. We need this rocket plane. So now we cut over inside a jail cell where the mysterious Melter and the Black Knight are in captivity. And, they're like the nerve of them, with bars that are chemically treated to resist my melting power. And they still allow us to keep our costumes, though, because of the scientific delegation from Washington's on the way to study us. And Black Knight warns them, don't touch the wall. It will release a special gas if we try to shatter it. The authorities are going to, taking no chances with us at all. But all of a sudden, the wall starts to glow, and it gets longer and larger and bigger, and they realize this is someone breaking them out because the wall is fading away, and there's the Enchantress. It was her spell that did it. So they're reunited with the Enchantress and the Executioner. They know that this is a Baron Zemo plan. They're all in. And Black Knight says, I understand fully. My lance hungers for battle, and they won't escape me, they being the Avengers. So he takes off. He's anxious to get into combat. He sees a plane, or rather the plane that the Avengers are in, sees the Black Knight, and they know that he's going to be heading for an attack right towards them. So he uses his lance and starts to get the plane within its motion of the propels, that he's doing the circle of the razor sharp steel. And the Avengers are being thrown around until Thor jumps out and uses his hammer to try to stop what's going on and go after Black Knight. We get some good panels of the two of them battling each other. While inside the still spinning ship, we have Iron Man and Captain America talking when they realize that the Wasp is there with them, and she's told them what's going on. Baron Zemo has taken Rick Jones. So that's what's going on. Iron Man, once the plane becomes more stable, jumps out to take care of the Melter. And those two battle back and forth a little bit, and the Melter's even able to weld his boots to the roof itself, kind of making him trapped in one spot. So it's time for Giant Man to get out of the ship, because the ship is under this force field, and he's going to leap. And they say, you can't leap, you're going to get killed. And he says, no, I'll grow as I'm leaping, and that will save me. And once again, one leg on two different rooftops, and he's able to protect himself. He looks down into the audience and easily sees the Enchantress and the Executioner. And he realizes she must be the one that put a mystic spell on her plane, and he's going after them. In the meantime, the Wasp helps out a little bit, and she dumps some grease on the ground, which will cause the Executioner to go splat. The Wasp and the Enchantress go to battle a little bit, and she uses a spell that makes the Wasp paralyzed. Giant Man's trying to get through. The buildings are hindering him a little bit just because he's so big while these two run away. But Captain America, meanwhile, is the only one left back in the ship, and he can't let something happen to Rick. So now he knows it's Baron Zemo. He knows Baron Zemo's in the Amazon jungle, so he takes off after him. I imagine a little bit of time passes between the fact of New York and the Amazon. And Cap arrives, and they detect a ship coming in, and they pretty much deduce that it's an enemy, so they start firing upon the ship. And all of a sudden, up pops Rick, and he's encased in like this, I don't want to call it a bubble, but it's like a large glass cage. And now Cap has to be careful where he's shooting, because one of those could hit and kill Rick, which is kind of their plan, which would drive Cap a little more insane. We cut back to New York, where Thor and Black Knight continue to fight against one another. The Melter and Iron Man are battling. Iron Man finally being able to break free from the rooftop that his feet were stuck on. We have essentially the whole Masters of Evil, with the exception of Baron Zemo, in New York City, taking on the full crowd of the Avengers, with the exception of Cap, who's over in Brazil. And finally, they get the Masters of Evil all get rounded up together. And at this point, that's when the Avengers kind of knows, hey, where is Captain America? And they're like, huh. And they realize it's time for a showdown. And Executioner says, hear me, Thor, you have vowed never to harm a mortal, but think of the scores of humans who will be injured if a battle takes place between us here on the streets of this city. And Enchantress is like, good, you're confusing him. And they realize he's right. You know, the damage could be unimaginable. And Giant Man finally gets to say Avengers Assemble in this issue. And, you know, they declare that if stealth cannot defeat you, I'll turn against to brute force to defeat you. Cutting back over to the Amazon, Cap is parachuted out to make sure that Rick Jones is okay. He's able to be freed from his glass cage. Baron Zemo and his goons attack. Cap goes to throw the shield. And Baron's like, oh, you missed me. And he's like, no, I hit exactly where I wanted to, because he hit some specific rocks that start to fall. And Baron Zemo goes to fire his gun, but Cap's shield reflects the light, the sun rays off of it, and starts blinding him so he can't see. He turns his gun up and shoots, not realizing what he's doing, essentially causing an avalanche that looks like has caused his death. So with the threat having been defeated, Cap and Rick are reunited, and Cap says, no man can penetrate evil without paying the price. If destiny could speak, it would say, by my hand shall always die a villain. And that's the end of the story.
Good work.
So, thank you. We gave you both stories. Who had the better story? This is time for you in the chat to vote right now while John and I give our comments on both stories.
I told you beforehand that I felt pretty one-sided, and it's this category. Yes, JP, I did not like the Avengers story. It was choppy. It was like fast when it should have been slow, and slow when it should have been fast, and it jumped around way too much. The story had a lot of nonsensical elements. It didn't end. Like, just when it was exciting and they're gonna assemble on the streets of New York and have their showdown, we're done. Like, we're just done with that part of the story, and we never go back to it.
They don't resolve that. They're like, we're done.
Yeah. So like for me, it was a very frustrating read, the Avengers book, and it left me. We'll talk about art as we always do. Mm-hmm. The interior art was a different matter. Like I for the most part, I liked the artwork that we got, but the story as it was presented was not a good fluid read. It did not have a lot of energy and excitement to it, and so I was disappointed by that story. Anything since we just finished that one, did you want to talk about that one?
So this seems like, to me, and maybe with knowing what's coming in the next issue, that they're like, we're out of ideas for this title already. We're 15 issues into this title, and we are out of ideas. We are recycling the same villains, the same group. And I mean, there's something to be said for the continuity of that. And I like that, because back in the day, there was a lot of just one-off stories, and maybe you never see that characters again, ever. Right. Sometimes, in some cases. Sometimes you strike gold and you get a character that resonates and you bring back. Sure. But it's kind of like they ran out of ideas. But on the same time as saying all of that, there was something about this story, and to me, both stories felt very much different, but there was something that didn't make me hate this story.
Do you know what it was?
I can't pinpoint. No, okay. I can't really pinpoint what it was. But there was something where I'm like, well, it's keeping me interested.
Okay.
Where, as opposed, and I'll flip over to the JLA if that's okay right now.
Let's do it.
With the JLA story, it's not that I dislike the JLA story, but when I got to a little bit of like the origin of the rock creatures, or what, I'm like, yawn.
Yeah.
And, yawn. And I'm like, how come they can touch them, but the JLA can't, and I'm like, yawn. Yep. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And I know you're supposed to dispense believability. Hey, John Big Daddy Ross, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for saying that. And yeah, you guys keep voting in the chat too. It's not that I hated the Justice League story. That definitely wasn't the word, because there's been issues where I didn't like either. It wasn't my favorite. Was the Avengers my favorite? Not so much. Plot twist, I'm picking Avengers though.
Oh, so then we are divided, you and I.
Yeah.
I will say yes. I didn't love either story, but I had a lot more fun reading the JLA book. I
Okay.
enjoyed the way the teams split up. I enjoyed the activities that they did when they were fighting the different rockets and the different machines and systems. So for me, I got more fun out of the other story, the JLA story. I liked the way that it was plotted and the way that it told its story. The reveal was bland. I did not care to the concept of the two worlds overlapping and the idea that you could touch but not be touched, and it was very nonsensical as well. But I at least felt like it was different and new, and I was excited for it. So let's see, how are we doing in the chat? If you and I are split, how's the chat feeling?
I only the full Avengers story. I can't really vote.
Well, you can rewind real quickly if you want to hear
Sure.
Ryan or me telling the JLA story.
So we have, a vote for Avengers, but we have vote for Justice League as well.
Okay.
And then if we
Knights
do that,
Knights of Old
count
says
ours
Avengers.
as we're still split.
I was gonna say Knights of Old says Avengers, right? His comment.
Yeah, and Seeking Superman said Justice League. Oh, JP saying Justice League.
Okay.
By Shaggy Man's hair. And I know he doesn't mean the Shaggy that rides in the Mystery Machine.
Oh, okay. That's
Shaggy Man is a JLA villain.
The Shaggy
We
Man.
we might get to him before.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Not like in the next year, but a little bit further down. We'll probably get to Shaggy Man.
Okay. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. So.
Anything else on the story that you wanted to mention? Do you feel like we kind of got it?
Not really. How about you?
No, I think that was mostly it for me. With Justice League at this point, I feel like I know the beats as far as like the intro, setup, splitting into teams.
It's a formula
the reveal.
Yes.
And the formula for me, the formula worked. I liked the pieces and the way they strung together in this. So the story and the story structure worked for me. Even if the reveal was a little flat, the rest of it worked for me.
You can almost even figure out who's going to team up with who when it comes to the split offs,
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew that Central City was not going to work for Aquaman, at least.
Yeah.
Better to go to the island, go Tokyo.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, so we're saying JLA for story?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let's go over to the art. And is it okay if we stay with JLA?
Absolutely.
So JLA art is always consistent. Always. And nothing seems skimped. Nothing seems rushed. You get backgrounds you get backgrounds more than you don't get backgrounds.
Absolutely.
There's some good stuff in there. There's some good undersea stuff with Aquaman. There's some fun stuff too with like the nets and the rockets that I'm showing right here. So
sure,
that's some cool stuff that we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes time for a favorite panel, the one I picked.
Oh, I had two or three that I was really struggling between, but I'd love to see yours.
I'm going to show you mine, and then I want to get your comments on the art and then a favorite panel. Okay.
Sure.
I just liked this one.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's kind of cool.
We haven't had a ton of Superman, so having him prominent like that.
And the three of them, three of them was an interesting pairing, I thought.
Sure.
So that's the one I'm going to go for as my favorite panel. What did you think of the JLA art and favorite panels?
I mean, to your point, it's been very consistent. It hasn't had the highs and lows that I think we've gotten in some of the other in the Avengers book, right? And as a result, I think it makes for a fluid read and fluid storytelling as a device for that. There were several panels that I really loved. If you want to go right to the beginning, I'll give you my favorite, and then I can give you a runners up. My favorite is on the second page.
Oops, sorry, I zoomed. I went out.
I'm
back now. On the second page, okay.
It's the one when Clark is catching Lois. Or
no, he's catching Diana. Yeah,
Diana.
Yeah, I like that too.
I love this panel a ton.
I should have mentioned that too. That I like seeing Clark and Diana together.
Yeah,
because that hasn't happened.
the tilt
in
of it
these
is
stories.
great. The pose is great. And the
Yeah, that's
fact that
good.
they don't tell you who they are right there, but a reader like us who's could easily say like, oh, I know who those people are. And then on the next page, they reveal it, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
A little bit later in chapter 3, I liked the second panel in chapter 3 with Green Lantern.
Yep.
Where he's holding all the buildings up. Really cool. A little phallic, but still very entertaining. But yeah, again, strong art, good color work.
Yeah,
like
the coloring
really
is
color
good.
work, always really strong. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We'll jump over to the Avengers, and usually the Avengers artwork's good. It's good, it's solid. It has picked up a lot since the beginning of the issue.
Sure.
There's John right there showing some
just
stuff. At first,
scrolling through.
Yes, yeah, feel free to scroll through. So, I mean, even stuff with like Zemo's head appearing when they're communicating with him, that's really good. The Rick Jones being kind of like sucked and pulled up into the air.
Sure.
Good,
sure.
Good dynamic with that. And then on that same page, with Iron Man and Thor being zapped. That's really good too.
Yeah. And again, great color work. It's really dynamic. Yeah. There's a lot of fun energy to it.
And, sometimes we talk about what do these issues have stuff in common? And more times out of not, we say yes. I guess it's missiles and rockets in this one that they both have in common.
Yeah, there's some missiles, there's rockets. They're both going to the Amazon area of the rain, like Brazil or the Amazon rainforest. I love this panel. This wasn't my favorite, but I just love the perspective. I love the detail on Iron Man's costume. You get a little bit of the city in the background. So yeah, I mean, I think they do a dynamic job with the characters and the poses and the action all really kind of work. I'm on the artwork side, I'm far more pleased than on the story side. I had a lot of fun with the visuals in this issue. I don't know about you.
Yeah, what are you going for as your favorite panel? Or
I was going to go back. I got to go back to the beginning here. So I really skipped all the way deep into this issue. It was this one.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's really good.
When he turns back into Donald Blake, I love the color work of it. I love the pose. This really Don Heck, man, really doing a number on these issues.
That panel alone could be a poster or a print.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's really good.
What about you?
A lot of times when I'm reading my stories, and this is the first time I'd read either one of these issues, but a lot of times I let the panel find me, or that's what I try to do. Okay. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you an example of that. What I'm about to show you is not my favorite panel, but I thought it was going to be. Like, it was the first one that grabbed me, but then I found something later on. I went, oh, no, this is it. But at first, because this panel came up first, at first I'm like, that's going to be my favorite panel. I really like that. I like the perspective. I like getting all those characters in there. I like the expression on their faces. Even Iron Man, you can tell his expression with a mask over it like that,
Right.
And I thought, well, I think that's probably going to be my favorite panel. But lo and behold, as I went through the story, at the top of another page, I flipped and I saw this and I went, oh yeah, this, no question, no doubt, this is going to be hard for anything to beat. This is my favorite panel.
Sure.
With the Enchantress and the Wasp. I just thought that was really awesome.
No, I like the waved lines and the expression and the posture of Wasp. Yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah. So that's what I went.
And Hank Pym just completely disregarding, property.
Yeah.
He's destroying like 3 buildings in his pursuit.
You guys can start voting, JLA or Avengers art-wise. Who did you like for the art? Because John and I are about to give our opinions on who we're voting for the art.
Yeah, I mean, Don Heck, I've said it again and again and again, has been my favorite surprise of this show with you. Don Heck I never would have assumed or thought that somebody taking over for Jack Kirby would be the superior artist, but he has been. I don't even think it's close. I've liked the Don Heck artwork pages far more than the Jack Kirby ones. Kirby did do some layouts. I don't think he did this issue, if I'm mistaken. I don't remember
think he
seeing his
did
name
either.
on this one. But he's done some layouts up to now. He did. Yep. He's got layouts. He's listed as layouts on this one. Yep. And inking is by DeMeo and lettering by Simek. They don't list coloring because I'm assuming that that's the primary artist. But there you go. Nicely done. Yes, indeed. Kirby layouts. Avengers based on that Ench panel. He's picking Avengers. Justice League, JLA is solid. That's my pick. All right.
Okay. What are you picking, John?
I'm still on the Don Heck bus, so I'm going to be picking Avengers this week. I like the stuff that he was doing with the fight sequences. I like the dynamic energy of the action because we got a lot of Captain America versus Zemo at the end with the henchmen. I thought that worked really well. So I'm giving him the edge this week.
Because I don't want to be knocked off of one particular person, this person's Christmas card list, I'm going JLA.
So we're split again.
Yes. So I'll go JLA on that.
The chat seems JLA for right now.
Yeah.
So they are agreeing with you.
Yep.
We're so far 2-1 on the art
two
side. Categories
left, and the last category is the big one because it's the overall. But first, before we get to that, we'll move on to my favorite category, the MVP. What we're going to do is we're going to pick an MVP from Justice League. We're going to pick an MVP from Avengers. Then you guys can vote between the two who was the bigger MVP based on the story that we tell. Oh, good. I'm back on the Christmas card list.
Phew.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, because you're not backstage, John and I don't discuss these books before we start. We don't talk about them in the weeks leading up. The most our conversations might be is, oh, I've read the upcoming issue, and we don't say anything more. Or I have to read the issue or whatever. You know, it's more stuff like, do I recap this story this time or do I do the other story? That's more of what we talk about and save most the conversation for this show.
Right.
But I told John backstage, I said, one of these MVPs, I'm so sure that you and I are going to pick the exact same person because I keep a tally.
Okay.
I said, I've already written the name in. So either I'm going to have to get some whiteout or I have to see. Which one do you want to do an MVP first? Justice League?
Well, I'm assuming that it's the JLA pick that you believe that you called in advance.
How about this? How about on 3? I'll say 1, 2, 3, then we'll both say it at the same time, okay?
We'll see. Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Green Lantern.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hal is the star. He does a lot of valuable things. Not only using his ring in a variety of ways I don't ever recall him using it before, but also being the one to make the choice when he flies off half-cocked to make the choice to change the plan to the successful solution that ultimately saves the day. So yeah, I don't think there was any question for me that this was a Hal Jordan MVP.
For the exact same reasons you said. I mean, the fact that we said it at the same time, that's the Justice League one. That's what do you mean? It's time to do Crazy Arms.
Yeah.
I remember Crazy Arms. Hi, Perry.
It's good to see you, Perry, man. How you doing, buddy?
So, Avengers MVP, I had a harder time with this one.
Yeah, and I bounced around between a few of them. It's tricky because the team splits up a little bit, and so there
isn't a lot of resolution in the story, though.
Truly not a lot.
I have one that I know it's going to be my choice, but
I feel like it would be. Yeah, why don't you? If you feel like you've got yours, I felt like I was torn.
Okay, I got mine.
Between two.
I'm going Captain America, and this is why. People might say because he's at the end, and that's where the issue stops. It's not because of that.
But that is a good reason.
It is a good reason, but it's also him as Steve Rogers that sees the Enchantress and the Executioner in the cab and tips them off and gives them an idea that this is about to happen, even though they're still kind of blindsided by it. At least they have an idea that it's coming. And I mean, he did a lot trying to follow them too, and trying to keep a tail on them. And
yeah.
So I still think it would have been, it's interesting that they realized that they're being followed, but he's not in his Captain America costume. I think it would have been funnier if they would have went, "Who's this dude?
Yeah. what's
Who's
with
this
the
dude that's
blonde guy
following
in
us?"
the blonde guy in the suit
Yeah.
running across cars after us?
But I think it's Captain America. What do you think?
He was one of my two picks, and so I think I can see myself being swayed to that side. I was considering the Wasp.
Okay.
She has a couple of
because she sat on the window edge and learned.
She overheard the key words that need to be heard,
Yeah.
but she also snuck into the ship. She was the only one that was able to get into the ship on her own.
Mhm.
She also, in the battle sequence, is basically taking on Enchantress and the Executioner on her own. She is able to like knock the Executioner down and then go after the Enchantress while all the Ant-Man's doing is knocking down buildings. So like for me, she's like doing a lot in that fight sequence. But I can also see, to your point, the sheer amount of time that we get with Cap lends itself to him being the MVP for this book. So I'm willing to concede that point.
Okay, let's do Cap then. So
now part.
chat, here's where you come in. It's Green Lantern or Captain America, not overall, just based on the story we told you tonight.
Yeah. Who is the better MVP in their respective books, right? Like is Cap a better MVP in his book over Green Lantern in his book? That's the question.
I think I have an answer.
I mean, I think I probably do too, just based on how definitively we were choosing Green Lantern. It feels that he's the obvious choice.
1, 2, 3, it's Green Lantern. That's what I think too. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall he's the one that shines, hint, hint, shines most brightly, and I think, literally saves the day. Versus the Avengers story is somewhat unfinished, and Cap certainly defeats Nemo and uses his own idiocy against him. So I can respect that. And he spots them on the street and catches them. But for me, I think this is another Hal Jordan. And I say another because I do believe he's in the lead on the MVP voting overall.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Hal Jordan going on here.
Yep.
So it looks like the chat agrees. So I think this is a pretty easy one to wrap up there.
Yeah. So it'll be Green Lantern tonight. Cool.
Yes.
And he did something. I mean, he turned back time, and even Cher can't do that. She can't. She's been around since Green Lantern.
She wishes.
She's been around since Oa.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here it is. We've come to this point. Who has the better book? Out of all the different categories we talked about tonight, put everything together, put it in that blender. Which one comes out smoother? Which comes out nicer for you? Tastier? Is it JLA or the Avengers? Please vote now.
Yes, you guys are the ones that decide the ultimate tally going on here between these two books. We've tried to give you all the information we can: interior art, covers, story, characters, and then you can let us know, okay, you've heard the facts. Now you get to be the jury and decide who is the champion this week or this month.
So if you were in the chat voting, where would you go?
I mean, I think they were, having discussed them both with you, I think that they are closer than I thought maybe when I went in on this.
Okay.
At the beginning, it felt like it was a clear Justice League runaway for me.
Mm-hmm.
But having chatted about it, I feel a little bit better about I'm not as frustrated with the Avengers story as I was when I read it the first time. I think I can appreciate it more. And the flaws of the Justice League story came out a little bit, but I still think I'm leaning JLA personally.
Okay. I've done kind of some in both categories tonight, but
sure.
So far we've got votes for both in the chat. That's awesome. When it comes down to it, for all of the categories combined, it's going to Justice League for me.
So if there were a tie, the tiebreaker goes to the JLA, but we're still waiting. Glenn has not voted yet.
Yes.
I'm watching you, Glenn.
Yeah.
These are not like the best ones we've read. These are definitely something in the middle range overall.
And I'll say
So I guess
that
it's fair that they
I
aligned this way.
I think next month, I mean, we're going to get a major shakeup in the Avengers book next month.
Yes.
Major.
Yeah, Avengers 16 with Cap on the cover saying Avengers Assemble. Obviously, it's a big issue for fans. I've never read it, so I'm curious how it reads. I've obviously
I have
know
read it,
the
but it's been a while.
significance. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the significance and I know the cover. I honestly think I got it pretty early in the Avengers collecting.
Mhm.
And I just got it because I love the cover. It's Captain America saying Avengers Assemble. Like I wanted that cover.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to read it and kind of get a sense of how it works as a book.
What I'm going to be curious for overall with the 15 shows, including tonight's that we've done, JLA more than it's trailed. But now we're about to completely revamp Avengers. And I'll be interested to see if that revamp changes that dynamic, because there's not like a major change coming to Avengers anytime soon. We're gonna get a couple villains back, as we look into the next 6 months or so of stories. Sure. But we're not gonna get like a major change in character.
No, and as far as art and story goes, we've mentioned from the beginning that JLA is an incredibly consistent book.
Yeah,
and the creative team stays on that title with a lot of consistency.
So, John, his vote was implied.
Oh, do I need to repeat myself?
His vote was implied. So, okay.
But yeah, the artwork in the next issue is Dick Ayers. It's not Don Heck.
Okay, so we got another change there too. So
Kirby is still on layout and Lee is still on script. But Dick Ayers is doing the artwork in this next issue. Something to think about.
Cool. I'm going to just leave this up for another moment or so, and we can start talking about our channels and things that are coming up for us. Comics with Friends, what is going on your channel? What's going on in your life?
I dropped a video on Silver Age Batman comics.
I watched it. I didn't comment on it, but I watched it.
And then I've got a video coming up on Thursday on Strange Academy. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con starting tomorrow evening. I'll be there for preview night, and I'll be there for pretty much every day, maybe not all day, every day, because it's a good hour and something to get there and an hour and something to get back. So I try to not overextend myself so I can still see the family and do, normal life kind of things. Yeah. But my goal is to spend a lot of time there. And I've made this plan for myself. People have told me every year that I go there, that I live near there, they're like, that con doesn't really have comics though, right? It's not really a comic book convention. So my goal is to video record every single booth with comics and show you guys that there are indeed comic books at the San Diego Comic Convention. Everybody shows you the figures and the games and the celebrities and all this other stuff. I'm going to show you the comics in San Diego Comic-Con. Every single booth, all the owners, all the things. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the comics at the con.
Nice.
So
by the way, if you're not, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, not subscribed to John's Comics with Friends, there's a link in the description for this video too. So please go over and show support for those that are in the chat tonight to sub each and every one up.
And just for
growing the community,
just for the fans that are here, and I teased Ryan with this, so he doesn't even know either. I've been working on completing one of my big goals for this year was to finish my X-Men omnibus collection. I only needed a few more, and I bought 2 this last week, and one of them arrived, and I didn't tell Ryan what it was, but it's been behind me this whole time. I didn't know if he had zoomed in. I finally got classic X-Men.
Did you really? That is
the omnibus.
So
which is out of print and hard to find and can sometimes run in the several $100 range. But
I'm going to tell you this. I didn't buy it for you, but I spent last weekend. I was a little bit under the weather for part of last weekend where I just didn't want to do stuff. I just kind of wanted to sit mobile because I felt better by doing that. I was on my iPad and I spent a good couple hours looking for that for you. And I can attest to how hard. I mean, I'm not saying that I couldn't find it. I mean, I could find it if I wanted to pay certain prices.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it in respectable price. So congratulations to you for getting that, because I know how hard that is.
And I've missed out on a couple over the last year or so when I've been watching for it. For those that don't know, it has the 1 through 44 of the run, and it only collects the additional material. It's not giving you the full giant size X-Men 1. It's just giving you the added material, right? And it also gives you a portion of Marvel Fanfare issue 60. It as far as I know, there's no plans to do another printing of it, so it's kind of one of those challenging to find omnis. But for me, the guy who grew up reading a lot of the classic X-Men before I could read the actual X-Men, I wanted the additional material. And sense. Yeah, like to your point, the ones I see on there are often like $400, $350.
Oh, I saw some for a couple thousand.
Yeah. So to get one that was right a little bit with shipping was a little over MSRP, which is $125.
Oh, then you did great then.
I was very happy with it.
You did great.
And I looked it over today. The condition that it's in is very nice. It's not like big banged up corners or big bowing spine. So yes, I'm going to be doing a video on that next week at some point, because I've got this one and I got another one arriving tomorrow. So I'll be down to just 3 omnis left to purchase, and then I'll have all the X-Men omnis I needed.
Awesome. Way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before I talk about my channel, I just want to jump back to that Batman villains video that you did. On that video, just to prove to you that I watched it, you say towards the end of the video, well, I'm going to prove to you. I mean, I meant to leave a comment and I just didn't. Okay. You said, is there a Batman villain you love that I didn't mention? Let me know. Well, I'm not going to leave a comment. I'm going to let you know right now. Do you know who it is?
Are her initials LL?
Yes. SLL. Senora Lola Lasagna. Enough said.
Oh, Ryan.
Man, do I have, and I don't want to give, this is the only tease I'm going to give on this, because I haven't proceeded any further, but I do have a Lola Lasagna commission in mind that I just think chef's kiss when I do this. It's going to be a chef's kiss.
Like a good bite of lasagna.
Yeah. It's going to be as good as stirring the spaghetti sauce. So on my channel, here's what's currently on my channel. Recently, I did some Superman stuff to celebrate Superman Legacy, and very appreciative of my Superman back issue of the week, which got over 1,000 views. It's been a while since one of those hit that high, so I was very appreciative of that. I've kind of switched over to Fantastic Four now. So I have back issue of the week that dropped yesterday, Fantastic Four, issue number 1. Obviously not the original, but a facsimile. And that's the back issue of the week. This afternoon, I dropped a Fantastic Four Haul Part 1 video. That's currently on my channel. Oh boy.
Sub Drew.
Since it's part 1, that means there's a part 2 coming. And then over on my Instagram, I just started today doing 4 Fantastic Four covers. And my cover I'm posting tomorrow on Instagram for that is maybe what I believe at least to be the first Fantastic Four comic book that I ever read. It holds a very sentimental meaning to me. And I write just a little bit about it and show the cover. It's not a key issue. It's nothing like that. It's just something that means something to me. And I've actually never posted it on Instagram. So that's what I'm sharing tomorrow.
Oh, that's
fantastic. I'm really excited about that. And I know you're going to be doing SDCC stuff, but I'm going to be going to see the movie Thursday night. So
I'm excited to hear about it. It sounds like some people are already saying it's getting some good reviews overall. So I'm happy to hear that. Obviously, I was ecstatic when that same thing happened for the Superman movie, to hear the enthusiasm, the excitement, people going to comic book shops and reading books again like that. Yeah. I love all that. Hearing that stuff is great.
And this really isn't a spoiler because I don't do spoilers and I haven't seen the movie. But I think it's interesting. And I hope that I'm saying this because I hope that I can pick them out. The original Fantastic Four from the Roger Corwin movie that was never released, they have cameos in the new movie, I'm told.
Oh, do they? I know that they've been out in support of it, and they have cameos.
They have cameos in it. So
funny.
I don't know if I would know what they look like now. That's the thing. So I hope that when I'm watching the film that I'm able enough to go, oh, that's one of them.
That's cool.
That's what I want to do. So
Sure.
yeah. Well, tonight we're calling it for the Justice League of America. You've been a fantastic roll call tonight, and we appreciate you being here. Next edition, issue 16, will be on John's Comics with Friends channel. Date to be announced.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere in August for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So until then, we appreciate you so much. John, I hope you have a great time at SDCC. And thank you guys. Congratulations, Justice League of America and Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, big winners in tonight's JLA versus Avengers. We will talk to you. Oh, one more thing. I got Fanboys Live in the Retro Review this upcoming Sunday. Silver-haired Bronze Age babe is going to be with me this week, and we're talking Supergirl. Now, Tony is not going to be on. Oh, Bobby's here. Hey, Bobby.
Bobby, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, Tony is not going to be on. And I really, really, really tried my best to get a different Tony to come on this week, but he can't because he has a different obligation. Sorry. But I'm not sad by having an extra week with Shabab. So Sarah's back on.
Which issue are you going to be discussing, or issues of Supergirl?
I'll actually tell you the theme, because we're pulling a Supergirl from her volume 1 and we're picking an adventure comic story, but we're talking about Supergirl's dating life from the Bronze Age.
I love it.
So
I do have her volume 1 Silver Age omnibus.
Oh, you lucky. I don't have that one. I kind of want that one.
It was something that my LCS had for a deep discount, and I thought Charlie will love this, and I grabbed it for her. But when she's done with it, I might know somebody that could enjoy it.
Cool.
So maybe I'll pass it along. It's in very nice condition.
Oh, nice. All right. Thank you again. Congratulations to the Justice League of America. You guys have a fantastic and fun rest of your night and week and weekend, and I will catch you on a stream soon. Good night.
Au revoir.